Once upon a time, Polly ran frantically through the dark forest of fear and doubt until one day she slowed down enough to notice the trees were beautiful. The more she noticed the trees, the less she saw the darkness. She discovered she was in an olive grove rather than a forest. This is when she uncovered her magic truth. Polly's purpose is to shine in every way. Welcome to her manifesting success story.
Hello and welcome to this episode. I am your host, Cassie Parks, and I am here with Paulie for this chapter in her manifesting success story. Welcome, Paulie.
Hello, Cassie. Thank you for having me yet again.
I'm so excited for you to be here.
Me too.
Amazing. For those of you listening, it is November 7th, 2022. So, Paulie, I know that you manifested hundreds of thousands of dollars during your manifesting success story. But what I would love for you to share for inspiration for listeners is your most recent total that you manifested while on vacation, while on an amazing trip. I mean, I don't know if you count that as vacation.
Yeah, it was so first of all, the inspiration happened right away, and the inspiration was to go to Afghanistan of all places. And then I had a trip planned to see my family in France and Germany and beautiful parts of Europe. And while I was away over a month, I made $50,000 in cash, like getting paid, not to say the hotels, the dinners, the all the fun things that we did that was paid for that I didn't pay for. So a solid 50K while I was on vacation.
Amazing. So a solid 50K while you were on vacation for a month, in addition to manifesting amazing dinners and hotels that other people paid for.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
Go ahead.
It feels amazing. Well, when the first 1K, around 1K, I went from booking a Disney voice, and that was it's like a childhood dream to voice Perdita from 101 Dalmatians. That was right the day before I left to go to Afghanistan. I got to do that job.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I remember that you don't have this on your list, but we definitely talked about we did some coaching on that, right? And the coaching was to not let the stakes be too high.
Yes.
And will you talk about that and what a shift that made?
Yes, that was a huge. It's still, thank you so much for reminding me of that. What do I do when I want something so bad and the stakes are high? And your answer was, don't ever let the stakes get that high. And that blew me away, because if the stakes never get that high, then it relaxes me and I have everything to gain. And I'm in control. Nothing's bigger than me. In fact, I'm more than ready, and possibly even bigger than that thing that I want so much. So that was extraordinary. And thank you again for reminding me of that.
My pleasure. You're welcome. So excited. I love it. Let's talk about your biggest aha that's connected to your purpose that you've recently had.
Yes. So a while back on the call, we were talking about like purpose, and does everyone even have a purpose? And you were like, what do you think? And I thought everyone does. Like the blanket answer was like, yes, everyone is alive for something. And then I realized that it's powerful that everyone gets to choose if they have a purpose or not. And that was really resonant with me. And so I said, yeah, I mean, and again, it comes to like also staying in my lane. Like I can't decide if other people have a purpose. That's up to them, to take ownership of that as well. And so, of course, I said, yes, I have a purpose, but what is it? And you were like, I don't know. What is it? And that was my assignment, was to go and feel into like, what is my purpose? And my initial gut was like, to be a star, to be a movie star, to be, an amazing storyteller. But then again, I felt like my purpose, I want it to be even bigger than to just be an amazing storyteller. And I put it away in the back of my mind. And I was on YouTube, and I decided to read some of the comments. And I don't really remember what the video was, but someone said that after their Nana passed away, they were really sad, and they were lying down and on a whim, they asked God what the purpose of life was, and that the whisper came in and said, "To shine, my dear," or "To shine, my darling." And that took me aback. I lost my breath because I saw that and I thought that's my purpose. It's to shine, whether it's doing an interview with you or it's going to Afghanistan or being with my family or being on stage or telling a story. That's my purpose. It's to shine. And on top of which is we've worked so much on being present and to let go of everything, but just be present. And it's astounding how, when I'm present, that's when I shine. That's the only way I can really shine. And so that's been huge, bigger. It's been so transformative. And I've gotten complimented on being present, which is, it feels amazing, in ballet or my singing teacher, or just people stopping me on the street just to say good morning. I'm like, oh, yeah, that happens when
In New
people are
York,
present.
in New
In
York.
New York
That's
City.
like,
Right. People don't
we're
talk to
not in like
each
a
other.
small town. Yes.
In New York City, you are correct. Yes, that people, like, every morning people say good morning or say hi, and we're total strangers. But I'd like to think that being present is what elicits someone to greet me. And I on top of that, one of the things I told you about that I wanted was I want animals to come up to me. I'm a
Yes.
huge animal lover, and I've always felt like did you ever see like Tiny Toons?
Yes.
There's a character, Elmira, who, like, squeezes, like, dogs to death, and I feel like that's been me, like, I want them to love me so much, and you said, "Well, let them be," like, let them, like, honor them as they are and just let them be what they are. Don't ask them to come to you, just be present and let them come to you, and so I put that away and just worked on being present, and then like yesterday, 3 dogs came up to me, and 2 of them had no leashes. They just came up to say hi and play with me, and I so being present is so wonderful because there's nothing to do, and then
Mhm.
dogs come up with you, or people say hi to you, and it feels wonderful.
Yes. Amazing. You said something in the midst of that, all that goodness. That was, um, you know, I I have to be the only way to shine is to be present.
Mhm.
And so will you explain that for listeners and tell them a little bit more about what that means and
Yes. So, I'll give you the example of being in ballet. So I pay attention, I listen like my life depended on it, on the steps and the counts. And when I'm doing it, I'm so present to, well, I'm learning that to be excellent at something, you have to be present because you have to know about the alignment in your body, the musicality. So if I'm thinking about wanting to be good, I can't be good. I have to be in my body for that. And then I've been doing that, and someone just came up to me and said, "Oh my God, I cannot take my eyes off of you. You have something. You're so present." And it's funny because that's what I would have given $1 million to hear before. But this time I was just focused on the counts and the musicality and the expression of it and the joy of it. And then this happened. And then again, when I was taking a singing lesson, my teacher was talking and I was just listening as just listening, and she said, "God, you're so present with me." And I was like, and also I just realized how easy it is to be present and just either listen and or like I was always wondering, like, what does that even mean to be present? And you told me, well, activate a sense like we do in scripting. What are you feeling? What are you tasting? What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you smelling? And that is the key to everything I've learned. And I love especially being an exceptional listener. I love when people say I'm a great listener. I think that's one of the best compliments I could get.
absolutely. That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it. Um, so I think presence definitely ties into inspiration, and I'm going to ask you about that in a second.
Yes.
But I know for you, inspiration is really become doing nothing until I have to do something, or something happens and you have to do it and it just feels right, which is how we all describe inspiration. Um, Tell us about that, and then tell us if you've gotten better at doing nothing.
Yes. Oh, I've gotten so good at that. Really good. Like, I've gotten really amazing at not physically doing anything. I know, like, before anything, I know myself enough that I'm not going to physically do anything. Sometimes it's more of an awareness. It takes more awareness with my thoughts, but at least physically, I won't do anything. And what's the easy one is inspiration that just like slaps you and drags you. Like going to Afghanistan, that was like I just felt like I couldn't not do it, and it was so big. And everything worked out with the timing of getting to voice Perdita and with Luke being able to go and lining up with my family's vacation and joining. It was just so perfect. And even the things that I was worried about, which was like the producer calling, even that worked out. And I learned from that, which we can talk about. And then now going to London, like I just booked a workshop to go to London and I don't have a plane ticket yet, but I'm so excited to go. And that it's just, I can't not do it. And I'm learning that it's in the smaller inspirations that it is where it takes a lot more awareness for me. That's not
Mm-hmm.
like the one that's pulling you and dragging you quite as strongly. Um, but I remember you said that like inspiration can only happen when you're present. Like I can't be thinking about it. Um, so I think that's part of what I'm learning now is knowing that inspiration at the very least is being present. And if it's something bigger, then that's wonderful. But if not, at least in the present, that's part of staying in alignment and being inspired. And you also said that inspiration can't happen unless I'm aligned. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't be aligned unless I'm present. So that was a big, it continues to be a really beneficial and rewarding lesson for me.
Amazing. And I want to touch again on the inspired action to go to Afghanistan. So, um, tell us like how many days, like when you got the inspiration to when you left.
It was 10 days. And
10 days.
yeah, and everything happened so perfectly. We saw that our friends were in Afghanistan and it was like a light bulb, like, oh, I have to go. I have to go. And so I told Luke, my boyfriend, and he was like, when can we go? Because first of all, I wanted to go forever, but being Americans was an obstacle, and getting the visa was an obstacle, and da 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 da. And then everything just worked out. We needed to get a Pakistani visa, and it happened to be Memorial Day, and we were supposed to leave on Tuesday after the Memorial Day Monday, or sorry, Labor Day. It's Labor Day,
Mhm.
and a friend of us helped us out, and we got our visa the day before and we went, and it was everything about it was so beautifully aligned. Me doing the job and packing and everything going so smoothly. It was um like going surfing almost, you know?
Yeah.
Like I had to stay present on the wave, but the wave was going and I was on it. And it felt
Yes.
so good.
Amazing. And I think this is so important. So not only was the trip amazing, you manifested $50,000 cash for things you did on your vacation or came in while you're on vacation.
Hmm.
And the travel videos that you made while you were there are doing the best of any that you've ever had,
Ever,
right?
ever. Yeah. They are uh, just soaring more than and it's funny because yeah, it just started with I have to go and like we'll make videos, but if whatever, if the videos don't get views, that who cares? I just really want to go to Afghanistan, and now there's a whole wave of YouTubers and tourism coming. That is, everyone is going there now, which makes me so happy because Afghanistan is a place to be seen and it's a off the beaten track, but it's so worthy of being seen by tourists, which is a crazy thing to say, but it is. And yeah, our videos are going so strong. And it's so cool to see like every time we look, there's like an extra 5,000 views or, something like that. It's amazing.
Oh, that is amazing. Will you share the YouTube handle in case anyone's like, I want to see this trip?
Oh, yes. that's another fun part. Now my name is in the handle. It's Luke
Yay.
and Paulie. So my boyfriend's name is Luke. I'm Paulie, so Luke and Paulie.
Amazing. I love it. Um, let's see. We covered that. So, um, talk to us. I know like a really cool inspiration. We've talked or manifestation. We've talked a lot about them, like your 50,000 vacation, YouTube views, your everything happening with this dream role that you wanted. And like, tell us, but there's also a really cool one that I don't even think you saw coming, which is like working with your sister on a TV show idea.
Yeah, yeah. My sister and I were 1 year apart, and I love her with all my heart. And she's so successful, so smart, has 2 kids, amazing family. And I've always wanted to do something with her, but she's so busy, and I don't know what it, something. And then she came to me about writing a series about my grandfather, who was a movie star, a huge movie star in Mexico, and that the story would really be about my grandmother and how she was the one that managed his career back in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, in the golden age of cinema. And I like again, I nearly fell back because that's like a hell, the biggest hell yes ever. So right now we're writing like the series, the episodes, and then she wants to hire a professional writer that has a storied career already with Netflix series. So that came to me, wanting to work with my sister, a story about my grandfather. Oh, and of course, I would play my grandmother,
Of course.
which is yeah, of course. So that came out of nowhere, and it's God, it feels so good to work with my sister.
Amazing. Another cool manifestation was like realizing your fluency in French when you booked a
Mhm.
studio in France for one of the things
Mhm.
that contributed to your $50,000. Tell us how like fluency in French and
Mhm.
presence go together. Like,
Oh, great question. I hadn't even thought about that. Um, well, it was so great because the blessing was that the engineer spoke no English. So I had no other, he spoke a little bit, but uh I have to be present. I have to be. Anyone who's learning a language or wants to speak it fluently, well, who's learning to be fluent has to be present, because the difference in tonality can make all the different, or one,
mhm.
one in French, especially for me, one word can mean, if I don't catch it right, it means something entirely different. So, like for example, poisson and poisson, like one is poison and one is fish. So it's like it can be something like that where you can totally misinterpret something. But not only that, I had to speak to him, like negotiate money, set a time, and like explain what kind of engineering work like I need to do and for what. So I got, and I was able to do like it required of me a lot more concentration, but and presence, but it was perfect. And he was so cool. I got there like 2 hours early because I love being early to everything, and we just hung out for 2 hours and spoke in French. So that's when I realized like I totally got this. It's really fun.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yay. We'll come back to your Afghanistan trip again for a second.
Yeah.
Because you got we talked about had some coaching that really made things click, because even though that was 100% inspired, there was still like, well, what if something happens? What if this
Hmm.
happens? So
Hmm.
talk to us about that and the shift and how it went.
I know where this is going. um, I was worried about the producer calling me in. Like, what if what if this happens and I'm away? What if this opportunity comes and I'm away? And you're like, what if that happens? I'm like, well, I mean, then I'd have to go. And if like the producer's like, you need to come to Spain now, what do you do? I was like, well, I would probably go to Spain. Like I'm like closer to Spain and you're like, yeah, and wouldn't that be awesome? I'm like, actually, yeah, that'd be great. And I would feel ready. But I kept spinning. I'm like, but what if this happens? And then the answer was, if this happens, it would be awesome, and I'm excited. And that felt really good. And then of course it happened, and it was awesome. And I was excited. And the producer called me. I told him I went to Afghanistan, and it was magic. It was an amazing conversation. And I sent him another inspiration. I sent him the main song of the play, and I like saved all his texts, but he was floored, and he never expected. He said I exceeded any of his expectation, and he's elated, and that I'm ready for Broadway. And he gave me notes, which is wonderful. But that was the main response, and so it was awesome. It was more awesome than I ever could have imagined.
Yay. As we wrap up, I want to share this chapter, which you would title "The Star That Unearthed Her Shine." You've mentioned that, but just tell us anything else about that chapter title and this moment in your manifesting success story, how that ties in.
It comes from thinking that I had to reach something to shine, or to get enough notches in my belt to shine. Like I can only shine if I reach this level of skill or whatever. But I'm realizing that like it's already in me. I'm a star. We're all stars. And we're all like underneath thoughts and behaviors. We shine. I shine. So it's like it's the doing less and the being present, which requires, it's so simple, but that's when I shine. I don't have to reach anything. It's already within me. So it's the star that's unearthing her shine.
Yay. That's amazing. Was there any questions that you want to ask me today?
Yes. What is the title of your chapter right now?
I just looked at this right before. I would title it "Living the Dream," even though I think there are many moments I would have titled that in the last 9 years.
Yeah.
But really, like living that dream. It was last week was my freedomversary, and just thinking how long that has been, and really just living this dream. Yeah, and now this dream is, at earlier chapters of living the dream, we're getting to like be a coach, getting to leave my job. But now like that dream it's both in my personal life, but professionally, it's getting to support all of you, like having those of you, your 5 years is 3 months from now, right? Getting to see where you've come, and that you've come to this place where you realize you always shine, and being able to be present instead of so forcing things to be happen, and so that was like the second iteration of living my dream. Like first, like is creating my own life, but second is really helping everyone else do that.
Oh, so that's my next chapter, is living the dream.
Yay.
I just decided that. Yeah.
I love it.
I love
Amazing.
it too.
Anything else on your heart or your mind that you want to share today as we wrap up?
No, just my heart is filled with gratitude as always. And I wouldn't be where I am today without you and the Enchanted Circle and everyone that's in it, and all the lessons I learned from everybody else.
Yay. Well, thank you so much for sharing this chapter of your manifesting success story with us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me again.
Of course. Go ahead.
I just thought of something. My birthday was last weekend, and I made $4,500 for my birthday.
Oh my gosh. Tell us that
Yeah.
story. Yeah.
Oh, well, I got a public speaking client for $2,000, and I did 2 voiceover jobs for $2,000, and then my mom gifted me $500. So that's $4,500.
Amazing. All on your birthday. I love it.
Yeah. No complaints.
Fabulous. I love it. So vacations, birthdays, manifesting,
everything. Yeah.
It really is everything. It's not just, it is abundant. Everything is abundance, but you are manifesting everything that you want.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. I love it. Thank you, Paulie. Thank you all for listening. Make sure to come back and check out what else is awesome in Paulie's life next time.
The telling of stories is so powerful, both to the person telling it and the person receiving it. Since 30,000 BC, We as humans have told stories to teach and guide. And now we, with Manifesting Success Stories, hope to inspire you to what is possible in your own life. If you want more manifesting success, go to moremanifestingsuccess.com, where you'll find links to anything we've talked about on the show. Thank you for joining us today, and remember, you have the power to write your own happy ever after.